So welcome back to another episode of the things we want to see in FIFA 21. Every 1 or 2 weeks there will be an episode here because you guys suggest a lot of things. I want to cover everything. And I was just thinking the other day, there's like 3 more months until we get the FIFA 21 promotion and the trailers and all that kind of stuff. So the year does go quick. But today it's going to be business as usual because I'm going to be taking your suggestions and we're going to see what you guys want to put in FIFA 21. Now, according to YouTube, we have 77% of you guys not subscribed but watching the video. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and join the others. So every week I try and feature a new face suggestion, and this week's one is from Super Saiyan. He would like to see a Sadio Mane face update. Now he would like to see a new scan for him, including the gold stripe that he has on his hair. Now, if you take a look at one of his recent photos on Instagram, he does have that gold stripe, so he is rocking that in real life. But in FIFA, he doesn't actually have that, and I think that's because his face is a couple years old now. It's probably from when he was at Southampton as well. It wouldn't surprise me. And you got to remember as well that Liverpool were partners with PES for the last couple of years. It's only in FIFA 20 when they came back. Now, the good news is that they are partners now with EA. So if you go on their website, you will notice that EA is listed as one of the partners, which could mean that EA will scan them in the future. So it is quite possible that Mane will get a face update in FIFA 21 if they decide to scan Liverpool this year and add his new face into the game. But keep in mind that most of the Liverpool squad already is not too bad in terms of the faces department. So I think the majority of their faces are pretty good. Like Henderson got updated FIFA 20, Alisson got a new face. Firmino's one is a bit older. Salah's one was like FIFA 18 World Cup, I think, or FIFA 19. They updated it twice in 1 year. And then, Mane's one is a little bit older, and maybe some of the reserves could get new faces. So it all depends. I don't really know if they will rescan them for FIFA 21 or not. Now, since PES was partners with Liverpool for a few years, they did manage to put in a Mane face for him. And this one does feature the gold stripe. So if you're looking for an example of what it could look like, this is what they've got in PES at the moment. And it's got the gold stripe. So EA could do something similar. Now, every year when I do this series, there's always that one suggestion that suggests referee mode. Why do we need referee mode in FIFA? I just think, yes, it would be cool to try out twice, and then you get bored of it. Like, there's no way you could do a whole season of a referee career mode. Imagine how boring that is to just run around the pitch and then try and call red cards, yellow cards. And obviously EA, probably wouldn't even do it. But it's hard to imagine how someone could do a whole season without getting bored of a referee career mode. Now, maybe you could be a referee for one match in the kickoff. That could be pretty fun to try out once or twice. But I still think, it's only got that novelty of once or twice. People would get bored. You wouldn't touch it again. It would be like Volta. The only time you touch it is when EA throws it down your throat when you load up the game for the first time. That'll be probably what referee mode is. Now, obviously, a referee career mode could be a little bit more interesting if they made it like the Journey. And this sounds crazy, but imagine if you could have a Journey mode where you take bribes, you could be corrupt or a good ref, you could go to jail because you're corrupt or something. I don't know, I'm just making up stuff. I'm making it sound like GTA now. GTA 6 referee mode. And I just think it's not going to happen, but you never know with EA. They're looking for the next big thing every year to add into the game. Now, this is a funny thing. It almost got me until I realized it was an April Fool's joke. But back in NHL 17, EA Sports' department posted an article about BRF mode in FIFA, or not FIFA, NHL 17. Now, this is an April Fool's joke. It says, Happy April Fool's Day, BRF will not be coming to NHL 17. But they did have a plan for this, even though they didn't do it. But we could sort of get an idea of what they would have done if they did implement a BRF mode in FIFA. So based on this article, you have a trailer, and they did like a first-person view. The guy puts the hockey puck down, like that. So maybe the referee mode would be in first person, which could be cool. Maybe VR would be cool as well. But that's a whole different, setup. So it says control the game from the ice by deciding when to call penalties, stop the game, and more. So that's obviously stuff you could do as a referee. So obviously there would be a reputation feature. It has to be if you're a referee. And you have fairness here, game flow, and ability. So if you're biased, that affects your reputation. If you are causing too many stoppages in the play, it would affect your game flow score. And then you have ability as well, from like how smooth you do things and your ability to not get in the way of players as well. So, there is a lot more to this referee mode, but I just think it would be a gimmick still, even just reading this. Earn your stripes was also another thing here. It says your goal is to earn a high career salary. Your reputation is more important than ever in BRF career mode, as it could lead you to getting a higher salary, more games, or even all-star games. There's also training games such as puck dropping, so maybe you'll have like drop ball practice. It could be as ridiculous as it sounds, man. But it's just so... It's so hard to imagine. And then they had online leaderboards as well. So obviously this was a prank, but if EA was to do it, they would obviously follow something like this if they were to add a career mode thing. So reputation would definitely be a part of it. And then earn your stripes would be a part of it as well, and training drills and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think it's going to happen, man. I don't like to say never, but I think in the foreseeable future we will not be getting a referee mode, but I could be wrong. You never know. This next one comes from Dortmund career mode, and it is indeed a career mode suggestion. So he would like the ability to actually train national team players. So in career mode, you can actually get international job offers. You're coaching a national team, but you can't actually train the players in the team. You can only select based on the pool, and then you just play the games with them and do the tournaments. But in club career mode, you can actually train players from your squad. As you can see, you can do drills for certain players. And in the national one, we don't have it. So people want to see the ability to train national team players and do the same sort of drills and improve the players in your national team squad. Now, this would actually make sense because they're your players at the end of the day, even though it's not the club you're managing. It's still your national team. So you want to improve the players that are playing for your national team and boost their stats up. So when you play the tournaments, they're actually good players. And I think it would be a good suggestion. It would take the training mode to another level as well, based on what you can do with it already. Now, maybe EA decided against it because when you're doing national team games or tournaments, you really only get like 2 or 3 days break before you got to play another game. So maybe they thought it's not even worth it throwing in training drills and stuff, because by the time you know it, you're back playing another qualifier or another match in a World Cup tournament or Euro. You don't really get those weeks off like you do in club career mode, where you can have a few days of training before you play the next game. But that's just a thought as to why they don't add it in. But I think the developers could come up with something if they actually wanted to add this feature in. But yeah, I was just given a reason as to why maybe they haven't done it already. So next up, I want to talk about the EA catalog. I would like to see more content added into the EA catalog for FIFA 21. I know this is not a microtransaction play, so there's no incentive to actually do anything with this, and I know that it's probably not going to happen anyway, but I would like to see more content added in. In older FIFA games, they had classic kits. You guys would remember that. You could use them in career mode, and you don't need licenses for colors. Like, those classic kits were not sponsored by Nike or Adidas. They were just colors, and they just had a retro design to them. So you don't need licensing to create classic kits. I think a lot of people would accept a basic design as long as it looks historical. Now, I believe they did have some licensed classic kits. I don't think it would be that hard to, get them into the game again. They had them in older FIFA games, so I guess Nike would be happy to do it again, or Adidas. But so far, they just decided to get rid of them, I think, from FIFA 18 onwards. If possible, create some new stuff to add into this catalog. We've seen the same stuff over and over every year. And yeah, there's really nothing that excites me anymore with this catalog. So if they could add some new stuff in besides boots and balls, maybe think of something, I don't know. Maybe bring back the Classic 11 team, where it's a team full of icons and you can unlock them and use them in kickoff or career mode. I think that could be pretty cool. But the one thing that gripes me the most with this EA catalog, and I think EA should fix it for some of these items, why does items like Financial Takeover and also the International Management offer expire after you redeem them? Now, a lot of people have been complaining about this for many, many years, but it doesn't look like EA is going to change it. This was a complaint on the EA forums from 2017. One guy said it's incredibly annoying that career mode redeemables can only be used once. I'm playing single player offline, makes no difference to anyone else how many times I redeem items across different career modes, which is true. I wanted to start a new one with a League 2 side, having a takeover, maxing out youth scouts to build an amazing youth team, but I did redeem all the takeovers already and there was none left. He then finishes it by saying, shortens the life of the game by limiting how much I can do for no good reason. Now, the former community manager, but the community manager at the time, EA Andy, did reply, and he goes, it's the same for any items in the catalog, they're only one-time use. I can pass your feedback on, but I don't know if there's any plans to change the way this works. And 3 years later, it's still the same system, so the feedback does not work. And yeah, I don't know why they expire. Certain items, like even the International Management offer, should not be limited, because there's many times you start a career mode, you want to manage your national team that you picked. Instead of waiting for the offer, you just redeem the token and you're good to go. So for no good reason, these things just expire. Next up, we have a career mode suggestion, and I think this one would improve career mode. It would just give it another branch, and it's called Scenario Mode. And this one was suggested by King Kashama. And he goes, it would be nice if EA made it possible to have some type of scenario mode in Manager Career Mode, where you can take over a team when they have an injury crisis or have to play out of the relegation zone and so on, like FM has done. Now, currently in Career Mode, you basically have your standard player career mode or your Manager Career Mode, and you start from day one in a season. And what I think this game mode needs is another branch called Scenario Mode, where you can create storylines based on what's happening in real life and try and play it out in career mode. So what he suggested was like taking over a team full of injuries, and obviously you can have the ability to set whichever team you want it to be and then list the players that you want out injured. Just give us some customization here. This could be really cool. Or even do a relegation battle, so you inherit a team halfway through the season, they're not doing too well, and your job is to stay out of the relegation zone. That could be fun as well. But the one I want as well is the Start Today feature, and that is when basically, based on real life, you start your career mode based on the current stats. So let's say right now in the Premier League, you want to take over Man United, who are currently 5th. They want to get into the top 4. Well, EA would load up all the stats for that career mode. You would press, start today. And when you go into your career mode, rather than starting on day 1, you would start at the current Premier League table, just like it is in real life at the moment. And then you can play the rest of the season out. I think that would be fun as well. And the amount of storylines you could do or content you can do as well would take it to the next level, because it's giving you something to do, like a challenge, rather than starting from day 1 and then just playing it as a normal career mode. I think scenario mode, if they do it properly, could be pretty fun, and it could add another branch into career mode. A year ago, there was a Reddit post on FIFA Careers that talked about this scenario mode. So a few people have been, talking about it over the past few years. And it says, how cool would it be if we had a career mode, but before you started, you had to choose the scenario. We could have things like a bust, a mode where you get to take control of any club, but they've just gone bust. They'd have to sell all their players and have hardly any money. You'd stay in the same league, but it'd be hard to compete with a terrible team. Financial takeover, same as in you take over a club, but after they've just had a financial takeover, you have to take over a lesser team and go from there. You had the money to increase the stadium, training facility, and world-class players, but because you're unproven, you'd struggle to attract anyone big, similar to QPR. Going down, take over any team, however, they've just been relegated and are forced to sell players. Try and get the club back to the highest level, similar to the first one. Going up, take over a club just promoted to the highest level. You'd have a little injection of cash and choose to either improve the club as a whole or buy players and try to survive. If you get relegated, you get sacked. And then we have manager mode, a mode focused mostly on you as a manager, similar to football manager in the fact that you wouldn't literally play football, however you'd have to make decisions behind the scenes. These would include team management, dealing with training drills, and handling a player who is unhappy at the club. So basically, everything that career mode offers except actually playing the game yourself. Now, I'm already sold with this scenario mode. I would love to see it. I wish EA would throw it in, and let me know what you think about scenario mode. You can already see, just on the amount of challenges and storylines you can think off the top of your head, how this could be a good game mode that would stop people from getting bored so early in the cycle. But anyway, that's all for this week. Make sure you check out this FIFA 20 video. Hit the card in the middle. It'll take you right there, and I'll see you next time.